There has been a spectacular bust-up between Elon Musk and President Trump, and it's all played out in public view. Musk and Trump engaged in a heated public exchange, straining their previously influential relationship. Trump accusing Musk of being opposed to him due to the changes in electric vehicle tax credits, while Musk expressed disappointment over Trump's lack of gratitude for his campaign support. So much to unpack, and joining us now to discuss all this is Professor Tim Harcourt from UTS and host of the Airport Economist channel right here on Ticker. Many have been anticipating that this would happen. When it started to go sour at the beginning of the week, I thought that it was just basically a plan between the two of them to help the Tesla share price come back up. But this seems to have gone nuclear. It
seemed to be inevitable. They say, death and taxes are inevitable, and a relationship of two large egos was going to come. I suspect
unstable egos at the same time, right?
Well, that's right. And two people, megalomaniac in their own ways with their own business empires, who, certainly Musk's very new to politics, which is a very different skill set.
Obviously, in the past, their relationship has been frosty, and there have been times where Elon Musk supported Ron DeSantis, for example, as the candidate before Donald Trump finally took over. And then all of a sudden there was this very close bromance, if you will, between the two, particularly after Trump was shot at Butler, Pennsylvania. What do you think has gone wrong? Is this just because of the big, beautiful bill and the tax credits on EV, or was Musk pushed out of the White House?
I think in some ways there was tensions over the Department of Government Efficiency, the Dodge philosophy to cut waste, and then suddenly the big, beautiful bill. I think Musk generally thought he could reduce government waste. He could reduce
and he didn't
the size.
Really. It was meant to be by $2 trillion, then it dropped to $1 trillion. Now we're looking at, then it was $500 billion. Now we're talking about $150 billion was what was saved. But there was a lot of anger about it and a lot of disruption as a result, right?
You got all the disruption, all the anger, all the controversy, perhaps without the end results. It might have been that a slow and steady, less charismatic, cut to government waste might have been more effective.
Let's have a listen to what the president had to say.
Well, look, I've always liked Elon, and it's always very surprised. You saw the words he had for me, and he hasn't said anything about me that's bad. I'd rather have him criticize me than the bill, because the bill is incredible. He knew every aspect of this bill. He knew it better than almost anybody, and he never had a problem until right after he left. And if you saw the statements he made about me, which I'm sure you can get very easily, it's very fresh on tape. He said the most beautiful things about me. And he hasn't said bad about me personally, but I'm sure that'll be next. But I'm very disappointed in Elon. I've helped Elon a lot.
All right, so there you have it. Now, from that, these tweets began coming out. He began making a series of allegations on Twitter. This is Elon Musk. He's saying there the Trump tariffs will cause a recession to the US economy in the second half of this year. And then he goes on to say, time to drop the really big bomb. Real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That's the real reason they haven't been made public. Have a nice day, DJT. That led to this. This is Tesla's share price in one day, which has plummeted by market value of about $152 billion. It is an extraordinary blow up and bust up that, did you think it would be this big and this big an impact on Elon Musk's business empire?
I don't think he expected to have the big impact on Tesla that it has been. I mean, people buying Teslas used to be the progressive thing. Now to the contrary.
Which is quite surprising. He didn't foresee this as such a smart man, that by supporting Donald Trump, he would alienate a huge bunch of people who had bought Teslas. After all, Tesla received a great chunk of money after the GFC from President Obama.
He's a very smart man, he's a very interesting man, but it doesn't give you political nous necessarily. And this is why you don't see a lot of business people, getting involved in politics. It'll be a big lesson if anyone else wants to go and be a special government advisor.
Yeah, well, it's obviously cost him a lot of money, but also that relationship has been laid bare as one which is pretty tricky to recover from. Do you think that they will?
You never say never with Donald Trump or Elon Musk, but I mean, you've got to say, Joan Robinson, the British economist, said, putting on tariffs is like putting rocks in your own harbour. If you support tariffs, you've got to have rocks in your own head. And I think Elon Musk has never been a tariff person.
What do you think of this tweet? So the Trump tariffs will cause a recession in the second half of the year. Is he right?
It's quite possible. I mean, the central banks, including our own own RBA have said not quite the same, but they've said it's caused gross uncertainty in the world economy. And tariffs generally do. Tariffs generally, we look at the Great Depression, we look at other tariff hikes, they generally do cause carnage.
Why do you think President Trump is continuing then? And do you think that Elon Musk, I suppose, entering the vortex of Trump's tariff world will have an impact on what happens to Trump's tariffs?
Well, American businesses have been pretty quiet about it because they want to carry favour with Trump. So I think if Musk starts to talk up against the tariffs, maybe some of the other business leaders will, because they haven't so far.
Which has been interesting because obviously they're giantly affected, but this is the first blow up we've seen between a business leader and Donald Trump of this presidency, right? Do you think others will follow?
Well, they've been given the door, the door opening from Musk to do so. You notice that the tech giants, I think you and I said on this program, they were pretty quiet and they got behind Trump, whilst the tech giants used to be typically Democrats. So
well, they were literally behind him at the inauguration at the Capitol, all of them standing there thinking that they're going to be in the plum roll for some good news, but they've been hit the hardest in terms of their share prices, right?
Well, again, where's their political nous? I mean, they got behind the campaign because of the populism of Donald Trump, but policy-wise, they knew what he was going to do.
Yeah, well, not even 6 months in, here we are. Professor Tim Harcourt, host of Airport Economist, and of course from UTS in Sydney. Appreciate your time as always. Good to see you in the studio.
Thanks, Aaron.